All right, good afternoon, guys. Julius Gilger here, and welcome to the Monday, January 25th Level Up Call. As always, we're going to start out with the numbers for the team. And so we're going to talk about our issue paid numbers so far through 2 weeks into September, specifically for FFL Republic. So 2 weeks into September, FFL Republic has issued $262,527 in business. That means over $260,000 has been paid out to the agency. So great job to everyone that's put protection in place. We've had 46 agents go out and write a policy so far this month with 2 weeks into the month. I also want to highlight the two agencies. We got FFL Guardian has already issue paid $117,168 in business 2 weeks into the month with 21 agents specific to FFL Guardian. And FFL Vertical with 8 writers for $52,234 2 weeks into the month. So great job to all the people that have went out and put protection in place. I want to highlight the top 5 people. So number 5, Josh M with 13,313, Darla O with 14,603, myself with 15,943. Disregard my ringer. Clay Sweet, 25,088, and then Nate Fudala with 27,708 2 weeks into the month. That is some serious production, guys. Great job to the top 5 people. Great job to everybody that's went out there and put production or protection in place. And guys, that's what it's all about, right? This isn't about just, sell to your friends and family unless you really want to. This is really about putting protection in place for clients that are really looking for what we do. All right, so the next thing I want to share with you guys is obviously we are just a few days away from the biggest event of the year. If you guys were on the national agency call here about two hours ago or so, you heard us talk about the convention. We have 10 days left to go with convention. Convention is going to be spread out across 7 cities: Atlanta, Dallas, Jacksonville, Kansas City, Phoenix, Miami, and Orlando. There's only 3 locations left that have any space. Phoenix, Miami, and Orlando. So you want to go to your closest one. Register for that on FFL2021convention.com. You do not want to miss it. If you miss it, you just aren't serious about this business, and that's okay. But you guys are here for a reason, and that reason is to change your life, change your situation, and move forward. And the way you do that is going through convention and getting trained from the top producers, the top agency leaders nationwide. Last thing I want to share with you guys, if you're coming to the Phoenix event, today is the last day for the discount on the room. So FFLAZHotel.com. We're staying at the Westin Kierland here in Scottsdale. Beautiful resort, beautiful part of town. And the room rate is exceptional for where you're staying. I mean, normally rooms here go for $300-400 a night. You're getting it for $189 a night. So if you're flying to Arizona and you're coming in, or you're staying in Arizona and you want to stay at the hotel, make sure you take advantage of the room rate. It's $189 a night. Today is the last day to do that. Don't miss it, because you are going to end up paying probably double the cost of that if you decide to wait. Okay. All right. So let's get into training today. All right. Today's focus, today's topic, how to dominate the phones so you can become a Hall of Fame producer. Okay. So if you're on the chat, you guys are I just realized I wasn't in speaker view. All right. That's better. If you guys are on the group, go ahead and drop a HOF for Hall of Fame if you want to hit Hall of Fame this year. Okay. For those of you guys in the room, how many of you guys want to hit Hall of Fame? Let's hear some noise. All right. I want them to hear you, right? All right. So a lot of hands, a lot of noise. A lot of people want to hit Hall of Fame, all right? Why is Hall of Fame such a big deal? Well, really because number one, it's recognition, right? Who doesn't want to be recognized for the hard work they do? But number two, it's a significant amount of money. It's a significant amount of income. And in 1 year, it will change your financial situation. How do I know? Because it changed my financial situation in just 1 year. So hitting Hall of Fame, it all starts with booking appointments. Okay. So I want to talk today about booking appointments. Why? Because if you can't do the fundamentals properly, you can't ever be a top producer. Because at the end of the day, guys, this business is about meeting with people, right? If you can't set up an appointment to meet with someone, well, obviously you're not going to have anybody to talk to. You're not going to have anybody to sell insurance. And you're going to be like the rest of the industry that struggles making income because they don't have enough people to meet with. Because let's face it, you and I, we only know so many people. We only have so many cousins and so many uncles and aunts and so many nephews and nieces or whoever, or people we know. And you're going to run out of people at some point in time. Okay. And so let's use the tools that we have, which are leads, to help us get to Hall of Fame. So obviously this isn't about leads, but you need leads to actually go out and book appointments. So assuming you have enough leads, and what is enough leads, right? So let's kind of really break this down so you guys understand the numbers. To become a Hall of Fame producer, you need to book at least per week, 25 appointments. Now you're going to hear a lot of people say 30. 30 is probably a better number, but you can get away with 25. Okay. Because if you're booking 25, you should still be able to do it. But to really put the numbers in your favor, I would suggest 30 at a minimum. Okay. But if you're doing any less than 25, the reality is you're just not even full time. I mean, it's just, you just aren't either dialing enough, you aren't buying enough leads, whatever. But you have to have enough appointments. And for conversation today, we're going to talk about having 30 appointments, right? So 30 appointments means we dial 2 days a week, right? You dial Mondays and you dial Thursdays. And so if you need 30, how many do you need to book it per day? 15. It's not that hard. It's just math, guys, right? So 15 appointments every dial day. Okay. So what does that mean in terms of leads? Well, we know that we're going to book only a percentage of the leads that we actually buy. For me, I want to make sure I have at least 60 brand new leads every dial day. I don't care what kind of lead it is. I want 60 brand new leads to me every dial day. Why? Because I know out of 60, I should be able to book at least 12 of those, if not 13 of those, because they're brand new. And then I'm going to use my aged leads maybe I bought a week or 2 weeks ago, or even 3 weeks ago, and find 2, 3, 4 out of those batch of leads, right? Because if you're constantly getting brand new leads every dial day, you're going to now have a big list of leads, right? That you've accumulated over time. And there's no reason why you can't dial leads from a month ago or 2 months ago or 3 months ago and still book up appointments, right? So, but if you have enough brand new leads, that's going to make it easier for you every dial day to book and meet the dial or the appointment requirements, which is 15 in a dial day. Okay. So if you have 60 new leads, you should easily be able to book at least 12 of those. If not the whole 15 out of that batch, but if not, then you're going to dial some of your old leads. Okay. So that's leads. Okay. Now let's talk a little bit about dialing times. Okay. The best time to dial is first thing in the morning. First thing in the morning, dial time is the best time to dial. You want to start at 7:30, not 8, at 7:30. That 30-minute difference, I'll book 3 appointments easily every single time. Why? Because number one, telemarketers aren't calling at that time. So people aren't expecting a call. And if people aren't expecting a call, guess what they're going to do? They're going to pick up the phone, right? And then also at 7:30 in the morning, what are most people doing? They're getting ready for work. They're getting ready for their day. They're up and at it, right? And then also, you know, for people that aren't working, the retired folks, they're usually up by 7:30 in the morning, guys. They're up, they're having their coffee, they're maybe done with breakfast, whatever the case may be, but they're up and ready. So 7:30 is your perfect time to start dialing for the day, okay? Let me just fix this angle here. So, and if you have a local office, you need to be going to your local office. Get around like-minded individuals. We have almost 20 people in the room here today, all here dialing in Arizona, booking up their day, right? So if, depending on where you're at, there should be a local office, okay? Now, if you don't have a local office next to you, guess what the next best thing is? Get on the dial team, okay? Why would you get on the dial team? Well, number one, I didn't have a dial team when I started. My dial team was me, right? I would call Grady and like, hey, what did you do here? Or how did you do this, right? And so it was me and Grady for the most part. Sometimes I would drive to his house, which was over an hour away, just to hear him book appointments so I can duplicate what he was doing. And so for you guys that are starting now, maybe been here for a little bit, the dial team is such a valuable tool that you literally can just log in from your computer, make your phone calls, and listen to other top producers on what they're doing to book appointments, get their word tracks, and follow their systems, okay? So leverage the dial team. Now, let's talk a little bit about mindset, okay? Booking appointments, it all starts with mindset. Everything in this business is around mindset, okay? So number one, you have to, okay? You have to get it in your core and understand and realize that every lead is a client that has requested information. Doesn't matter if it's a new internet life lead, if it's an instant internet lead, if it's mortgage protection, if it's final expense, it doesn't matter. A person, a family requested information, okay? So if a person has requested information or a family has requested information, you have to understand that your whole goal in the phone call is you are getting back to that person. Okay. I'm getting back to you, Mary. I'm following up on your request. Okay. The other thing when you're talking about dialing appointments is, or booking appointments, is you have to remove distractions. The reason why people are more successful in the office than at home is because there are no distractions here. Everyone's here to work. Everyone's here to do the same thing. When you're at home, there's tons of distractions. You got the dog in the background. You probably have TV on. You have, a family member cooking or doing something, maybe laundry you're trying to do, whatever the case may be. But you have to go into an isolated space where you absolutely have no distractions. And the reason why is because if a client says something to you and you're not prepared and you were distracted, that one instance where you're not ready to rebuttal and you're not fluid and smooth on your response, you probably aren't going to book that appointment. And that one appointment that you weren't ready and swift on could be someone that needed, well, they definitely needed help, but it could be someone that you put protection in place and you generated $1,000, $2,000, $3,000 worth of income because you were distracted. Is it really that important to you to be distracted, to have those things that distract you? No. So you got to remove those distractions and you have to focus when you're dialing. You have to be just singular focused on dialing, okay? Now, what's our approach, okay? We understand the mindset, okay? We understand that the client requested information, but what's our approach? We are not telemarketers. Write that down. We are not telemarketers, okay? Why am I saying that? Because if you act like a telemarketer, the way you speak, the way you present yourself, you're going to be treated like a telemarketer on the phone. Okay. People don't understand the difference sometimes. Okay. So it's our job to make sure that you're almost like getting into character that you're not a telemarketer, right? So not only are we not telemarketers, but our dialing patterns are going to be different. And the way we speak has to be different. So what do I mean in terms of how we speak? So number one, your pace. What is pace? The speed of which you deliver your information, right? So your pace has to be slow. Okay, slow down, right? Slow it down. A lot of clients that you're going to speak with are older. Older folks don't have a tendency of speaking fast. Slow it down. Notice I'm intentional. I have a habit of naturally speaking quickly. When I get excited, my energy starts pumping and I'm doing these types of trainings, okay? But when I'm on the phone, I literally have to take a second, take a breath, and really put myself in that mind space to slow down when I speak. Otherwise, I'm just gonna barrel through people and it's not gonna work, okay? So slow down for your pace. Now, in terms of tone, Tone is the frequency at which you speak. You can speak at a very high tone, or you can lower it down, and speak at a very low tone, right? You talk a little bit lower, make sure people understand you, they hear you. And now I'm talking slow and I'm talking low, right? So you can talk really high, right? Like there's some people that have been in the dial room before and they're like, hey, Bob, this is Julius, right? And I'm like, whoa, 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 whoa. You're coming in blazing fast. You're coming out guns blazing, right? And what does a client think when they hear that? They think this is a salesperson on my phone. This is a person I don't know. And when they don't know you or they don't feel like they know you or the energy is off, guess what they're probably going to do? They're probably going to hang up the phone on you. And that's what we're trying to avoid. So talk slow, talk in a low tone, and now things are they're going to come easier. This is not a race. All right. I don't want you guys to think it's a race that you have to spit it out. People will listen to you. Okay. People will listen. Slow down, talk low. You're under control. Remember, just like in the in-home presentation, you have to be in control. When you're on the phone, you have to be in control. And in fact, being in control in the home starts by being in control on the phones. So if you're in control on the phones, you will have control in the home. I promise you. It's worked for me. It's worked for tons of people in the organization. This works, guys. All right. Next thing. So we understand the mindset. We understand how we need to deliver our information. Before you start dialing, every single dial day, I still do this, guys, is I have my scripts printed up. Why? Because I don't want to try to remember what to say. I want to just literally read the information so that way my brain isn't trying to creatively say something to book an appointment. I want to say the words that work. The words that work are on paper. Okay. So what am I printing up? I'm printing up scripts. I'm printing up rebuttals, and I'll send these to you guys if you want them after. And then I'm also printing up a dial tracker. Okay. When I started, I didn't use a dial tracker. Okay. And when I didn't use a dial tracker, let me tell you what happened. So what happened when I didn't use a dial tracker was I felt like I was making a ton of calls. I felt like I was drained and exhausted, and no one wants to book an appointment with me, and they're all hanging up on me, and all these things that I was feeling. Emotions were running through my body and through my mind. Then I looked at I wonder how many dials I made. I made like 15 dials. I'm like, what is going on? Like, what is wrong with me? Right? Like literally 15 dials. And so I realized that the mind is so powerful, right? I mean, we all know the mind is powerful, but when we're talking about booking appointments and we're talking about rejection is tough sometimes, right? Not everyone deals with it easily, especially when you're first starting. And so hearing a no, hearing multiple hangups, and even if it is, I made 15 dials and let's say I heard 5 of them and I haven't booked an appointment, it's draining when you don't realize what your activity really looks like. And so when you put this on a dial tracker, you can take the emotion out of it because now you're like, well, I only made 15 calls. Like I haven't even started, right? And so now it's not about how you feel. It's about the numbers. And you understand that in a dial day, you need to make a minimum of 250 dials, guys. Okay. So if you're not making 250 dials in a dial day, you're not working the way you need to be working. Okay. So 250 dials at a minimum. And on average, you guys should be averaging about 3 appointments an hour. That's what I average. That's what just about every person averages. Some people do it better. Some people do it worse, but the average is around 3 appointments an hour, right? So if I know I have 3 appointments an hour and I dial for 5 hours, that's my 15 appointments, right? Some hours I may only book 2. Some hours I may book 1. Some hours I may not book any. But then some hours I'll book 5 or 6, right? So it's all about the average, right? So you need to make sure that you're just looking at the bigger picture and not just, man, that hour sucked. What does it look like for your full day? Okay. Now on your dial tracker, there's a few things you want to track. Number one, you want to track every dial. So what is a dial? Every time you press the phone button to call. So we're going to triple dial every lead. Every time you call a lead, you're going to triple dial them. I know this doesn't sound practical and it doesn't sound like common sense, but it works. Is it uncomfortable at first? Maybe. It was for me, because I'm like, man, what if they like curse me out, or what if they, whatever, right? Like you start thinking all these things, but the reality is they don't. Like, I've been doing this for over 2 years. I triple dial everybody and I've never gotten cussed out. And if I did, I'm calling them back like, hey, you requested this information. Why are you yelling at me? Right? Like, you get what I'm saying there, right? But my point is you triple dial every lead every single time, whether it's the first time you call them or the 10th time you call them, it doesn't matter. And then on your dial tracker, you're going to track how many dials you've made. You're going to track how many people you've actually spoken to, and then how many people you've actually booked. The reason why you want to track those three things is, number one, it tells you your activity. Number two, it's going to tell you how many people you weren't actually able to book and how many people you were able to book. And so now you start to understand that, do you have an opportunity with overcoming objections? When I started, I had a huge opportunity of overcoming objections. I was taking all the laydowns, but I wasn't able to get people to book with me, even though they said no initially, or they gave me some sort of excuse. And I didn't realize that until I started tracking it, right? And then there's also days where maybe you haven't booked enough appointments and you're like, man, I don't know what's going on. I've made 100 dials already. But if you didn't track how many people you spoke with, then you're not going to know what your real problem is, because maybe you just haven't spoken to enough people. Maybe just people aren't picking up. And you and I can't control who picks up their phone. Does that make sense, guys? Like, you can't control who picks up the phone. So, but if you track that, now you know it's not a you problem. It's just you need to make more dials. Okay. So that's what the dial tracker is for. It's to take the emotion out of your business when you're dialing. Okay. And don't wing it when you're booking it, right? When you're booking appointments, even if you've been here for a year or two and you feel comfortable, like, don't wing it. If I still do it, why aren't you? Right? Like, why aren't you? So that's one thing I would say to you there as it relates to that. So now that we understand the mindset, we understand the approach, we understand the tools, let's talk about the process and then we'll role play this. So number one, there's a step-by-step process on each script, which is really the same thing through every lead that you're going to dial. Number one is you're going to call people and you're going to tell them the purpose of your call, right? The next thing you're going to do after the purpose is you're going to tell them who you are. After you've told them who you are, you're going to tell them what's required. And we're going to role play all this in a minute. Then the step 5 is you're going to clear the client's calendar to schedule an appointment. When I mean clear the calendar is you want to find out when they have availability, so you're not giving them options where they're busy. That's step 4. Step 5 is you're going to actually confirm an appointment and then cement the appointment. And I'll speak about that here in a second. And then step 6 is how you close the call. Okay, there's a process to all this. So if you follow that process every single time, you're going to book more appointments than you have prior to today, and you're going to have consistency in your schedule, and you're going to have consistency in how many people you actually see every single run day. So let's kind of go through this, right? So I'm going to role play an internet life lead or an internet lead. It could be instant internet. It could be any internet lead out there. Okay. And the reason why I'm doing that today, guys, is because, let's face it, a lot of our team is dialing internet leads. That's the most abundant lead source that we have today that allows all of us to grow and allows our businesses to scale. And when you're talking about running business, the best lead is the lead you can get in your hands right away. Okay. The best lead is the lead you can get in your hands right away. And then over time, you're going to start to look to diversify your lead flow. So I'm going to go through an example here. and I'm just gonna role play it. Actually, can I get someone to come up and just kind of role play with me? Anybody? Someone? All right, Casey's gonna come up. All right, I'm gonna scoot over, grab a chair. All right. So Casey, just be the customer.
Okay.
Okay. And what we're gonna do here is I'm just gonna read the script. Just answer like you would, and then we'll kind of go through it. Okay.
Okay.
All right, guys. All right, Casey.
Yes.
Hey, this is Julius getting back to you about the information you requested online for the state regulated life insurance plans. Now, Casey, just to authenticate the call, you put down that your date of birth is 1/10/1972. Do you remember that?
No, not really.
Okay, that is your date of birth though, right?
Yes, it is.
Okay, no worries. Most people don't even know what they had for breakfast, so I get you don't remember that. Now, Casey, my job is I'm a local field underwriter here in Maricopa County, and my job is to sit down with you to see what programs you might qualify for, okay? Now, let me just verify some more information here. Obviously, we verified your date of birth. I also have your address here as 123 Success Street. Is that correct?
That's right. Yeah.
Okay, perfect. Now, are you working, retired, or disabled?
I'm disabled.
Disabled. Okay, great. Well, not great, but you get what I'm saying. Now, Casey.
Great. Yeah. I just stay at home now.
Now, Casey, all these programs are non-medical, which means you don't have to give blood, urine, or have a medical exam. Okay. They just require me to place eyes on you, verify you are who you say you are, and that no one is trying to get insurance in your name. Okay. Now, Casey, the company actually has me scheduled out in your area tomorrow, and they have me meeting with about 12 other people. So I don't have a lot of time, but I can squeeze you in between appointments. Is 10 a.m. or 11 a.m. better for you?
Probably 10.
Okay. And actually, I should have asked you this first. You don't have any doctor's appointments or anything like that tomorrow, do you?
I do have a doctor's appointment at 10.
Oh, okay. Good thing I asked you that. That wouldn't have worked now, would it? Okay.
No.
All right. So what time do you think you'd be back from your doctor's appointment?
Probably about 11:30.
11:30. Okay. Let me look at my calendar real quick. All right. So looks like I have an availability at either 12 or 1 p.m. Which would work better for you?
I think 1.
1? Okay. No worries. All right. Do me a favor. Go ahead and grab a pen and paper. I'm going to give you some information to confirm the appointment.
Okay.
Let me know when you're ready.
I'm ready.
Okay. All right. So go ahead and write down my name. My name is Julius Gilger.
Okay.
Julius, kind of like Orange Julius. Kind of hard to forget those, right? Those are great. So, and then I'm going to give you the time for the appointment tomorrow is 1 p.m. You said, right?
Yes.
Okay. Now they do ask us to have an hour window in case we're running behind. So just go ahead and write down from 1 to 2 p.m. I should be there within that time window.
Okay.
And then let me give you my license number. My license number is 1234567.
Okay.
And then the number of your house, is it on the actual house? Is it on the sidewalk?
It's on both.
It's on both. Okay. Okay. Perfect. And then one last thing here, Casey, is there any reason you wouldn't be home tomorrow between 1 and 2? Because they do have our schedule really tight.
No, I should be home from that doctor's appointment. So
okay.
I should be there.
Okay. Perfect. And then one thing I forgot to ask, are you married or single or divorced?
I'm divorced.
Divorced. Okay, perfect. Again, not perfect, but you know what I'm saying there.
It's all right. I'm better off without him.
All right. All right. With that said, I look forward to meeting you and helping you out, and I'll see you tomorrow between 1 and 2 p.m.
Okay, thank you.
All right, you got it. All right. So what did I do there? I kind of went through the same stuff, and I was a little bit out of order, but I still caught myself, right? So I was still able to realize that I missed a few key things, and it's okay to sometimes get sidetracked or go out of flow. In the event you forget something, you can still catch it up, okay? Now let's talk about some rebuttals or some objections. So Casey, let me ask you, what's an objection you typically get when you're making a phone call?
Probably the most common is like, I don't know what you're talking about. I didn't fill that out.
Okay. I don't know what you're talking about. I didn't fill that out. Okay. So they just don't know.
They're just like, oh, I don't remember. So
I
like,
don't remember. Okay. What I say when someone says, I don't remember, I say, perfect, no worries. I normally don't remember what I had for breakfast, but it looks like we do have your information here. And I'm going to go and revalidate the information that they've put there and make sure that they confirm it, right? And then the next thing I'm going to say is, okay, Casey, now my job is just to get this information to you. What you do with it is up to you. So it only takes us about 10 minutes or so to get you that information. And then I go back into booking the appointment, right? So I don't give it a lot of weight. I don't tell them how they did it. I just say, hey, this is the information that you put down, and make sure that they confirm that it's accurate. And then once I get them to agree it's accurate, I let them know that I'm not a salesperson. I'm just a local field underwriter, and my job is to get you that information, okay? What's another objection that you may get?
I already have insurance.
I already have insurance. Okay, so a lot of people get this response, right? I already have this. I already got it taken care of. I already have life insurance. Whatever the term is, they're going to mask it or say some kind of word to make it sound the same way, right? What I do in this situation, guys, is I say, perfect. Looks like our file hasn't been closed yet. I just need 5 minutes to come out and verify your coverage and close your file. Now, do me a favor, Casey, and have your policy out so we can make it super quick. Now, if the new 2021 plans can improve your coverage, I'll share those with you as well. But I just needed to get 5 minutes to come out there to you to close your file. What time is better for you? 10 or 11, right? So what did I do? I'm not trying to argue with them. I'm not trying to combat them. I'm trying to find the path of least resistance, right? So when you're booking an appointment, a lot of what you're trying to do is flow with your customer to get in the door, right? Your goal, your number one goal on an appointment is to get in the door. Once you're in the door, you treat it like it was nothing, like it's just a regular appointment. Hey, Casey, you go through, hey, do we have a kitchen table we can use? Yeah, great. You go sit down and you start asking questions. Hey, why did you fill out the form? And they filled it out for a reason, right? Whatever their reason is, get it. And then you can start talking about, well, I thought I had to just sign this. Well, yes, but I have to ask you some questions to figure out what those 2021 plans could look like for you, if there's a way to improve your coverage. And if not, I'll be out of here in about 4 or 5 minutes. Oh, by the way, where's that policy? Right? So what did I do? I followed up on what I said I was going to do, but I didn't treat it any different, right? Like when you get an objection, the last thing you want to do is give it weight or ask them questions. Well, who is it with, Casey? Hey, right? Hey, Casey, who's it with?
Mutual of Omaha.
Mutual of Omaha. Oh, did you do it on the phone? But you don't have to answer. But the point of it is this, guys. When you start asking questions that is not on the script, or that didn't sound right. When you start asking questions that are not on the script, you're going to get off path. And once you're off path, you have no way of getting back on path and booking an appointment. Very seldomly does that ever happen. And so I'm sharing this with you because I want you guys to realize that no matter what they say, your number one job is to acknowledge them, make a statement to transition, and then ask them another question that's relative to booking an appointment, not anything else, not what kind of coverage they have, not, why did you do this? Not, nothing else. Okay. I think another one that people will hear in terms of objections often is, I don't have time right now, right? They pick up the phone. They don't have time right now. Would you say that that's true? Okay. So I don't have time right now. So what I say there is, all right, I totally understand. I don't have time right now either. The purpose of this call was just to find a time to get this information that you requested. I just need 30 seconds of your time. Looks like I have your information here and you verify the address, the date of birth. Okay, perfect. I just need to get out there and lay eyes on you and get you this information that you requested. It'll only take us 10 minutes. Are you working, retired, or disabled? I'm obviously working. I can't pick up the phone, Julius. Like, I got to go. I get it. What time are you normally home from work? They say 6 o'clock. Okay, great. I can put you down for 7 or 8, make my last stop on the way home. Which one's better for you? 7. Okay, awesome. You have a pen and paper? You can just jot this down. Yeah. and I give them the information. If they say no, okay, cool. Is it all right if I text you the information so that way you have it in your phone? Yes. Okay, great. Hey, I look forward to meeting and seeing you tomorrow and helping you out. Done, right? Quick. Sometimes you got to quick set them. You got to be nimble, right? But if they're telling you they don't have time, they're telling you I have to take this call, they're telling you anything other than they're staying on the phone because they're trying to get off the phone, just quickly say, hey, I totally get it. I don't have time either. So they acknowledge we're both busy. I just need 30 seconds. Who's not going to give you 30 seconds? They're all going to give you 30 seconds. And then say what you got to say, verify the information, find out when they're home, book a time. Okay. Now that's probably not as solid of an appointment, but if you do it right, they're going to be home as long as you ensure like you communicate with them. But what I would also do in those types of settings is also double book that time slot, right? I might double book a 7 because, hey, if they're not home, I have somebody else I can go shoot over to. Does that help, guys? Okay. Thank you, Casey. Appreciate it. All right. So that's really it, guys. So it's not overly complicated, right? And I think a lot of times we make this harder than it has to be. And so what I would urge you guys to do is, number one, make a list. And if you guys want this list, shoot me an email. My email is julius@fflrepublic.com, and I will send you these rebuttals, okay? I'll send you the script. I'll send you whatever you guys need. My email is julius@fflrepublic, okay? And what has made it easier for me to overcome objections, because here's the deal, guys. If we're all just waiting for laydowns, your business is not going to be that successful. You have to get good at overcoming objections on the phone and objections in the home. So the way to do that, and the way I've done it, I should say, what's worked for me is I've identified the 4 or 5 objections I get every single time, and I wrote out a rebuttal that's simple, easy to say, easy to use to help overcome it. And that's exactly what I've done there. And that's what you guys should be doing. And that's what you need to practice and master. And the better you get at mastering your rebuttals, I promise you guys, the more appointments you'll have. And I promise you, the more appointments you have, you will write more business and have more money in your bank account. It's not that deep, okay? The last thing I want to leave you with is this. There's 2 key things when booking an appointment. Number one, it's cementing the appointment. If you don't cement the appointment properly, you have a high probability of getting a no-show, okay? So what did I do when we went through it? I had them write down, hey, do me a favor, grab a pen and paper. Now, unless they're just in a position where they can't, don't take any shortcuts. Oh, it's in the other room. I need you to go get it. I'll wait. Take control. Don't be afraid. Okay? And what you want them to write down is your name, and make it fun. Make it easy, right? Like I said, I made a silly line like Orange Julius, right? I know Easton Patton says, hey, my name is Easton Patton. I'm a 6'1" brown-haired guy with a big nose, right? Like you just want it to be like simple and not very, what's the word I'm looking for? Complicated. Not even complicated, but you want it to just be interactive, but also something that's memorable. That's the word I'm looking for. Something memorable. Oh, OJ, or oh, you're the guy with the big nose, like whatever. Like just have fun, right? Funny is memorable. It is. And like I know Jordan Lowry, when he's booking appointments, he's like Jordan, but not as good as Michael Jordan or something like that, he says. But like it's something that they're going to remember what you said, and it's just a very simple thing, okay? So number one, say, tell them your name. Make it, find something that you can say on every appointment that people, or every phone call that people can relate to. And then number 2, have them write down the day and the time. And notice I told them I need an hour window. Why? Because the last thing I want to do is show up at 12:30 and I have an appointment for 12 and they're pissed off, because then they're not going to let me in the house. I've had that happen. But if I tell them, hey, they said we need an hour window, Who is they? It's my boss, right? Who's my boss? They don't know who my boss is, but it's my boss, right? So they said, I need an hour window. So now I just bought myself an hour from 12 to 1. And as long as I'm there by 1, I'm not late, right? I mean, think about it. Anybody that comes to your house, they always give you a window. The direct TV guy, right? Any installer, hey, we'll be there between 2 and 4. They're delivering a fridge from Best Buy. They're giving you an 8-hour window. It's like, dude, just drop off the fridge. Like, what are you doing? But so give yourself a window, right? You're going to their house, for crying out loud, right? They're going to respect that. Ask about the house, right? Is the one thing I forgot and I should have asked is this, is there a gate code to get to your property or to get to your home? I completely spaced on that. That's a big one that you guys want to ask, because if you don't ask that, sometimes you're going to show up, you can't get through the gate, and then you're going to be sitting outside waiting for someone to pull in and you just kind of skirt in behind them. I do that all the time. Do that all the time. I'm like, oh man, they come out of the one where it's exit and I'm like flying in the other way. Like happens. I'm like, I hope nobody saw that. Right. So, but you got to be creative, right? You got to be creative. So, so ask about a gate code if there's a gate code to get to their home. And then, hey, is the number of the house, is it on the house or on the sidewalk? Get them to visualize what it is, so they realize that you're coming over. You could even say, hey, is it cool if I drive in your parkway or in your driveway or on the side of the road? What's better for you? And then, so that's how you cement it. And then one last question is, hey, is there any reason you wouldn't be home between 12 and 1 tomorrow? Is there any reason you wouldn't be home between 12 and 1 tomorrow? Why? Because I want one last effort just to make sure. Is there any reason you can think of that you wouldn't be home tomorrow? No. If you aren't saying that, incorporate that into your phone booking. That's going to drastically reduce your no-shows. And then when you close the call, this is key. When you close the call, I look forward to meeting and helping you out, right? You're not the one that should be saying thank you. They should be thanking you for your service. So I look forward to meeting and helping you out is how you close every call. And that's it, guys. It's don't overcomplicate this. I hope this helps. If you guys had some value and found some value in this, drop some comments in the chat. And if you guys want any of this information, feel free to shoot me an email. But other than that, guys, let's go out there. It's Monday. It's dial day. Get on the live dial team. If you're here in the office, obviously be around the folks. Dial your face off. Get 15 appointments. Go out there and help families and make a bunch of money. And with that said, we're going to finish up and wrap up, guys. Bye for now.